That's our hotel. And Brendan's going to say something.
What are you going to say? Smile. Yeah. You went out of focus there.
So, this is the 31st of December, and getting ready for the partying time, we've taken to the skis. And up on the hills in Tromso, there are a lot of ski trails, all lit, and really quite nice. And here comes Wizzy Brenda. She's moving faster than you think, actually. It's because I'm zooming in as she comes closer. I'm now zooming out to catch her up again. But actually, much faster than you think. See how she's catching up with this chap here who's just walking away. Very good. Bend the knees. And this was where we paused after our hour and a bit skiing, I think we did, to this point. And in the distance, you can just see through the trees there. In fact, we're going to zoom on it now. It's a ski jump. And the next day, or day after actually, I went out to the ski jump. They were jumping off there. In fact, there were 3 ski jumps there, a small, a middle and a large, for the training. And it was the middle one that was being used. I wouldn't do it, not even on a small one. See what I mean about the light? Well, the camera's obviously adjusting for the light as much as it can, and in fact I did some low light shots just to see what the difference was. But actually it feels fine. And 4 or 5 hours is quite long enough for the amount of skiing we want to do. Of course you can ski at night, and on the 3rd day that I went, I did just that. I went out, the weather was bad during the day, so I went out in the evening when the lights were on, and it's super. Not as crowded, obviously, because most people like to do it in the daylight, and really quite good. So a bit more here. This is a little bit of technique on the flat. Good kicking off, nice little glide. We're not up the hill here, but in a moment. Nice little glide. Hear the glide? That's how you do it on the left. And a bit of double poling. Oh, such a technique. Single stride. Very good. Yep, I got that. And this is coming back on the bus. I thought we might as well take a few pictures, see what we got. And it's interesting enough, isn't it? You notice that all the houses have got these bright lights in them. I think I had the camera set for low light here because it was after skiing and it was just starting to get gloomy. So the lights are showing up a little bit bright. But in fact these are the Christmas lights, usually arrays of candles. And every house has got one set. A lot of houses have got 2 or 3 sets. They really do decorate the place up actually, it's very nice. And because the skiing trails are on the top of the hill in the middle of Tromso Island, then of course this bus route is taking us down the hill to back to the harbour and hotel. Temperature wasn't bad. It hovered around 0 most of the time we were there, but felt a lot colder when the wind picked up, of course. But it hadn't been very warm because everywhere there were blocks of hard ice really built up over the last few months. There you see across the harbour the Arctic Church in the distance. And me. Yeah, some pretty little buildings around actually. Lots of traditional wooden buildings, but as you get into the town, there's quite a mixture of architecture actually. Oh look, the other half of the team. And those lights caught our attention, and we went back to those a few minutes later with their toboggans, just having a good time. Whoa, exciting. Brenda was stood looking after the skis while I did this. It was actually pretty icy walking up to this part of the town. That's the only problem on the streets. A lot of the places aren't cleared, and it's quite dodgy underfoot.